rises way, hey, up she rises early in the morning. That's what we do with a drunken sailor, that's what we do with a drunken sailor, that's what we do with a drunken sailor early in the morning. Way, hey, up she rises way, hey, up she rises way, hey, up she rises early in the morning.
Jumbo, Bariako asubuhi. How are you this morning?
I'm very well. How are you this morning?
Zuri sana. Bado, kidogo, ugonjwa.
Do you understand it?
No.
I'm a little,
You can't speak Dutch.
I'm all right, but I'm a little sick.
It's Dutch French.
No, it's Swahili.
Swahili.
I say, quite, why? Why am I sick? I say, well, usiku jana mimi kwenda rafiki yangu uku pub. Uku pub. Akunwa mingi pombi. I went with my friends last night to the pub. We had drank too much beer.
I'm walking the streets of a flat little town in Yorkshire that most of you will never have heard of, Goole. And those who do know where it is, between Doncaster and Hull, have nicknamed it Sleepy Hollow because nothing has ever happened here that's made the headlines in a newspaper. The place has no history worth putting into history books, and they don't really manufacture anything. What they do is import and export. You can see here, dangling on the jib of a crane, Britain's balance of payments. Pitch, that is, exported like coke and breeze and tar. And coming in, I've seen some funny things. Cans of green beans from Red China, minced coconut transshipped to Rotterdam, and fish food from Sweden for the trout farms at Watford. The surprise is to find this little dockland so far from the sea, 50 miles inland, a port in green fields, no seagulls, no salt in the air. And the reason is this canal. Goole is a company town built by the Air and Culloden Navigation, and they built it to export coal, the same today as they did then in a train of coal compartments they call the Tom Puddings. Caterpillars of steel tins, 800 tons of ditch-crawling coal. On a motorway, it'd be 50 juggernauts. How did they get the name Tom Puddings?
I don't know. I think it was shaped with these little boxes up with tow that did it. They're like pudding tins or old-time baking tins. Only thing I come across anyway.
What time did you start?
We started at 4 this morning. We normally work about a 12-hour day. Today's 14 hours.
How much did you get paid?
At the moment, we're basic rate of £24.87 for a 40-hour week.
And then they had a strike. It went to £35 a week. This is the wealth of Yorkshire, that they've enough thick seams of coal and fast-flowing rivers to make all these thousands of megawatts of electricity at Drax and Eggborough and Ferrybridge Sea beside the canal. And still there's enough coal left to export 2 million tonnes a year through the port of Goole. They didn't get 1 million tonnes last year for dockers to trim, but the treasure of the place, for me, is that it is Sleepy Hollow, and it looks it, like a living museum, and all in working order. Up the ancient Mr. Bartholomew's hoist, the Tom Puddings are cradled to ejaculate coal into Scandinavian ships' holds, and it makes a profit. Every ton logged for nationalised docks board by the scrutinising eyes of Messrs. Crabtree and Wilkes.
Well, we have this letter about from the accountant about services, and when you look back on it, you'll realise it's the same as we had last year.
Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway owned a fleet at Goole. No one owns a fleet today. But between the butcher and the transport caff, there's a romance in upstairs rooms where Goole entrepreneurs act for foreign sovereigns and other things to do with the sea.
What do you do, Mr. Kettlewell?
That's a very wide question. Principally, it's based around ships. We are shipbrokers and stevedores and time charterers and forwarding agents and insurance agents, anything to do with ships, shall we say, that we try and make a living from.
And what's the most valuable cargo that you get coming into Goole?
I don't know, we get a lot of strange cargoes. Steel is principally our business. We deal with steel for all the major steel producers on the continent. And we export steel for the British Steel Corporation as well.
Somebody told me that we're getting the same steel coming back again now.
Yes, I've certainly seen evidence in my time that steel is exported from the country and probably 6 months later with a few different marks on it comes back again. Whether it's a regular business, I wouldn't like to comment, but certainly it does happen, yeah.
Walking in and out of agents' offices, tramping the dockside, looking at the cargoes, there's a certain madness about our balance of payments, importing and exporting. We export from Goole steel. It goes to the continent and there it lies in a shed until the price rises and it's imported back in again. And along the way, all the merchants and brokers and agents are taking their pickings. But the elite of Goole's the docker, envied and abused, a 300-strong clan of proud, unsackable men.
You can bring a ship in here with 800 tons of steam, and it can start at 8 o'clock, and I'll guarantee at 6:30 that ship's discharged with steam.
And that's better than most ports.
Well, I say it's a good... I don't know whether it's better than most ports, but I'm saying it's a good turnaround.
You get a basic wage as a docker. What's the basic wage?
Very poor.
What's very poor?
You cut that out now. Chop that out. That's where you've made your mistake. Never ask a man what he earns.
Not if he's
As a shop steward, I cannot tell you.
Transport and General Workers Union told me, though, it's £45 a week basic, overtime, dirty cargoes extra, and things do fall off lorries. Do you think the rest of the people in Goole have got sympathy for dockers?
I suppose, yes, they have. My wife, my children, his wife, his children. And apart from that, I suppose some have, some haven't.
A solid, decent labour town, riddled with level crossings and swing bridges, where most people own their own homes and ride pedal bicycles to work at Burton the Tailor and Carlsberg Lager, and in almost every family there's a water transport connection.
No, but no good. Unless, of course, water was pumped from the river, and that's a very enormous job indeed. Excuse me. Hello?
Hello? Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey here. I'm speaking about this ship with the morning, 7:30. It's all laid on, and I'm doing it.
Yeah?
Uncle Monday, East German. Yeah.
Stan's an old sea dog who married
Yes,
a
I know
publican,
about it.
but he'll
I've,
still
Dominic
shunt a
told
ship
me about
from
it,
berth to
about
berth in the gravy waters of Goole when the network calls.
Right.
Big agents with compounds and
Yes,
warehouses, and the little one who Stan's on the phone to,
Right,
like
thank you
something
very
out of Graham Greene. He's retired from the coal board to a one-room business.
On this street, Mr. Best, there are lots of agents. Big ones and little ones, and you're
Yeah.
one of the little ones.
Well, I can't be described as a shipping agent. A shipping agent, of course, represents... a shipping agent's job is to represent the owner of the ship when she's in port.
So what do you do?
Our job in our company is to look after the interests of ships as they come into port,
What does that mean? That
which
means you...
concerns the actual handling of ropes, dock pilotage,
So who pays you?
the agents on behalf of the owners.
Port 10.
Why is it doing well? Why are little men and little ports doing well?
Well, this is probably because of service, individual service from the agents, from all concerned. The dockers have an extremely good name throughout the country, but we've all been here quite a long time. We specialise in the individual jobs, and we make a success of it. And we work as a team. This is the reason.
They say it's the second oldest profession in the world.
Yeah, indeed, yes. Let's not discuss the first.
Well, you don't see any of that in Goole.
Oh, that's another matter.
Once upon a time, I can remember, every town had both a grammar school and a red light ooh la la district. But today, there's hardly a single town that's got even an all-night transport cafe. And big ports like London and Liverpool have moved their docks towards the sea, but Goole can't. The water in the docks is controlled by the canal, and so the ships still sail past the parish church, behind Marks and Spencer's, to berth in the middle of the town. So in this tiddler of a town of only 18,000 people, beneath the shadow of two water towers they call the Pepper and the Salt, there's a saucy street Rotarians and respectable dockers avoid. Top, middle and this the bottom house, known to the young girls as the old folks' home, 'cause Ivy's knees up Mother Brown means exactly that. He's a real Russian, he is, off a loose timber ship from Archangel on the Arctic Circle, a regular runner into Goole. Though it's not a Hamburg or a Rotterdam, it doesn't get a lot of big ships because the water's too shallow. It does get lots of little ships, sailing through the potato fields, bringing every European language into port every day of the week. I got onto the Russian boat, Konstantin Bulavin, with Colin, a man who works in a factory just outside Goole. He's learnt to speak Russian as a hobby, using the ships for practice. They were very friendly, but when they saw all our camera equipment, they phoned up their Russian embassy for comradely advice.
Albert, ваш офицер. Здравствуйте. Добрый день. Yes, we may go on board. Пожалуйста, спрашивай, если у него капли обводки, может быть, это особенно русский. Не знаю, да. Наверное, нет.
Пожалуйста, проходите.
And the captain says no.
Not tell captain is a посольство.
I see. And we can't have the film. Is that true?
After?
We can have the film, can we?
No.
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 No. We've got to get permission from the embassy, and the captain can't get through to the embassy. It's a great pity. Что ты думаешь, что сегодня вечером может быть на телевидении?
Ну, если вечером, то это можно.
Да, в бар. Да.
We got turfed off. He's still on, speaking Russian, but we can't stay on any longer. It hasn't upset your hobby?
Oh, not at all, not in the least, no. It's just probably upset their embassy more than it's upset me.
Will it upset the captain?
Not at all, I don't think so. No, I think everything's okay.
It was as soon as we started to put our lights up that we hit the trouble. Do you go on German ships as well?
No, very rarely. I've got a few friends, Dutch friends, who my friend Harry goes to. I go along with him to the Dutch ships sometimes, because he's particularly interested in their language.
It's a proper little hobby, isn't it? People using the ships as language schools.
Well, I think that's a good way to use a language. Practice it. This is the best way to practice it with the people who speak it.
Goolies use the ships, but how do the sailors use Goole? The vicar, the chief of police and a doctor, worried about the sailors' moral reception, are backing a German Lutheran hut for emissions to seamen.
We want to make them feel at home and welcome in Goole. We feel that sailors and seamen are the lifeblood of the town and the port, and the town doesn't seem to recognize them very much. We want to put them on the map and feel they're really at home, provide a base to which they can come, and give them a real good welcome.
What do the sailors face now when they come into Goole?
Well, I'm afraid in the main, there are places which could properly be described as less desirable than our club will be, and they are often faced with having to decide that it is either those places or nothing at all. And I think our club, the Mariners Club, will provide a very effective alternative.
Will you let women in?
Certainly. What I would like to see in the nicest possible way is that the respectable young ladies of the town will come along to the club and act as hostesses, be prepared to talk to the seamen, to dance with them, and to make their life very enjoyable whilst they're staying in Goole.
The town elders are worried for the sailors, but the native young worry there's no entertainment in Sleepy Hollow but the grammar school for some, while for others...
That's South Street, 3 pubs in a row, I mean.
Is it a good place to be in Goole?
No. Terrible, isn't it? It's dead.
What's the best thing in Goole?
Ships.
Dock Tavern.
Dock Tavern.
What's special about the ships?
Nice blokes, isn't there?
British ones are best.
No.
Who's the best?
Germans.
Why?
You more than English blokes do. A lot more.
English blokes are tied to the mother's apron strings, aren't they? Not like them. Queer.
But Germans?
They treat you better, foreigners.
Yeah, they do.
They treat you better.
How does that show itself?
What?
Treating you better.
Like when a foreigner gives you a cig, they don't just gear it and then offer you a light. He lights it for you and then he gives you it. Whereas an English bloke hardly ever gives you one, never mind, lights it for you.
Only Vandians. Old Vandy ones. Old Fred from the Swine Fleetwood.
A docker's delight and a farmer's is racing pigeons in the summer. In the winter, in a room above a pub the other side of the level crossing, each member of Goole Flying Club brings a bird from their loft to show and be judged.
What's that one like?
You what? Well, it's a nice pigeon, but it isn't just as nice a feathered as some of the others, you know. It's a bit coarser pigeon. You see, it's difficult to... I'm not saying that it maybe is a very good racing pigeon, handled if it might be, but doesn't handle as well as such as that pigeon does as for a show, sort of thing. As nice a feather, but it's maybe a pigeon that's done a lot of racing. And, of course, that's the ultimate aim, but when you're judging with showing, you have to go on what they are in themselves, really. And, of course, you get, 60 pigeons, and from 60 different men. They'll all want to know what's the matter with them. And, I mean, there's only 6 can get cards, so the other 54 will say, well, what horrible judge he is. He doesn't know a pigeon like that.
Why have you been calling some flat-headed?
Well, because... I'll show you. Yeah, look at that. Like you see, it's square on top of its head. Can you see that? Which makes it, to me, this is cocks, and that is more of a hen. With it being, you know, that, you'd mostly get an hen that's sharp there and smaller wattled, and that reminds you of a hen. No doubt it's this year's young cock, but it isn't a really cocky-looking pigeon for a cock.
Effeminate pigeon?
Yeah, it is a little bit looking, yes, and looking.
one of them makes a whistle.
Yeah, well, that'll be a new flight that's growing. When they're growing the flights, they tend to have a gap in the wing. But when their flights are fully grown, they won't make a whistle.
You get no trouble from the neighbours?
No, we're some very good neighbours. Very good.
Oh, that's a proper way to hold it.
Yeah, we'll put legs in between your two fingers and your thumb over the top.
Now, this bird is to race?
No, it's to breed off now.
To breed?
He has raced.
How can you tell what's a good breeder and a bad breeder?
Well, you know, you train a pigeon to fly home, like, but you can't really tell whether it's going to be a good breeder or what.
You can't tell by the eyes?
You can.
How could you tell by the eye?
Well, to make a good breed, it wants to be well balanced.
What can you tell?
You can tell by the build-up of the iris and the number of layers that it takes to build it, how good it is.
What have yours done last season?
Oh, they've done pretty well. We had 2 first, which is not bad going in Goole Club. 70 odd members, you know.
Will you want to follow your father, Peter?
Yeah.
And follow your father as a docker too?
Well, I don't know about that yet.
Like public school entry becoming a docker, as soon as you can on his 16th birthday, the father will put his son's name down. 150 on the waiting list, and for the first time for 3 years, 6 today are to be chosen. Why do you want to be a docker?
Well, it's not only the best job round here, it's the best job in England.
Why
the very best.
Yeah, I agree. Security, it's got everything. Once you get
It's
on.
not just security, it's money.
Well,
Money.
yeah. Good money. And you know, once you're
Especially
there,
around
you're
here.
there for
It's a job
good.
for life, innit?
You can't get made redundant. You can't get made, oh, we don't want you, get lost. None of this. It's just,
And it's
well,
the best money in England.
Yeah.
The very best.
For the easiest crack, and that's it.
You've only got to ask anybody in England what job they want to be a docker. Of course they do. But I wouldn't say it were easy.
Yeah, I
By
know,
no
but
means.
you could find jobs like, the job I'm doing now. I'm loading wagons.
Yeah.
But I'm humping them, man. There's
You'd be
no
loading
humping
the
on there.
wagon,
It's
yeah.
stacker
You'd be
trucks,
loading
it's
wagons
stacker
now.
trucks, slings, all the gear.
Wouldn't you lads like to come on the docks?
Well, it's very difficult to find out from anybody exactly how much money a docker worth.
Yeah. Well, there's only one
I
word.
can't find that out.
Yeah.
I'm a docker's son, and I can't find that out.
I am as well. You're a docker's son.
Yeah. We're all dockers' sons.
That's it. It's what you might call the original clothes shop.
But I wouldn't say it's a
Docker's-
doddle.
Docker's
Ask
son's
anybody,
house.
it's the money. Of course it is. But there's no easy money, you've got to work for it.
You don't mind a pitch boat?
I don't mind anything. The money's there, I'm a family man. If I can earn £100 a week for my family, I'm going to earn it.
Why do you run so fast?
Why?
Why do you run so fast? Why do you run so fast?
To get there as soon as we can.
You work harder than dockers.
Oh, well, we've got to work. We don't get
Why
paid
have
as
you
well as
got to
dockers.
work?
Well, because I'm a poor starving widow.
How much do you get paid, a car?
10 pence.
Cars from the continent, trains of coal for export, and now straddling the flat Yorkshire land comes the M62. But Goole survives with rough simplicity. Sleepy Hollow, a straight canal link with that saucy North Sea.